Greetings, fellow ukuleleans. This is Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new ukulele tutorial. I'd like to continue our discussion of the great Christmas song, We Three Kings of Orient Are. This is our final version of the arrangement. This is level 3. We did a simple strumming version, which was level 1, that most ukuleleans would feel comfortable with. And then we did a level 2, which was in 3 parts, and that was beginning to form a chord melody arrangement of this song, using trying to learn how to play the melody and where the notes are, and then using the concept of keeping the melody mostly on the A string and putting chord voicings behind it, which got us into up the neck chords a little bit. So today we're going to put it all together and add a finger style technique to it. We're going to finger pick and fill in some of the spaces so that it's a fairly busy arrangement, but pretty satisfying. We are talking at the very beginning of that song about a particular melody that goes, and that's We Three Kings of Orient Are, which is the familiar opening line of the song. And then that melody gets repeated just with different lyrics. Bearing gifts, traveling afar. So the melody is simple enough. We talked about that in the part 2 in the second level of this. Now let's slap some chords under it and learn that finger picking pattern. If you recall from level 2, we had an A minor chord, and that was way up here on the 4th fret. It was 5, 4, 5. And simultaneously, at the same time that we play that chord, we play the first melody note, E, at the 7th fret of your A string. The we three kings, we. Now, the next melody note is going to be at the 5th fret, but we keep the A minor chord. It's a little tricky. You got to stretch your pinky out there, and then you got to bring your pinky back while holding that chord. So that takes some practice. It definitely took me some practice to get that. You want to work on that. Get agile with your pinky. All right, and then I do throw some other notes in there, but let me just quickly show you the rest of the phrase, and then we'll get into the notes in between. I did a different A minor voicing, and that's the standard one, the one that everyone knows, at the 2nd fret, single finger. In this case, I'm using my 1st finger, though, instead of the usual 2nd finger. Normally, you would want to use your 2nd finger in A minor chord, but for this special case, I'm making an exception. I use my 1st finger. And my 3rd and 2nd fingers are right there to play the melody. There's an E7 chord. You should probably know E7 by now, but in case you don't, 1, 2, 0, 2. My pinky can grab the rest of that melody. And then we go back to A minor, in this case a traditionally fingered A minor with your 2nd finger, which happens to have the open A string as the melody, so that's convenient. You don't have to go out of your way to play the melody on top of a normal A minor chord. So that gave us this. Now those in-between notes that I was referring to, those are played on offbeats. Those are syncopated. So we have We Three Kings of Orient Are. That already has a little bit of syncopation in it. Some of those notes happen on the ands of the measure, but some of these picked notes are also on ands. So let's explore that. I'm going to do it very slowly. See that? My thumb takes care of the top string. My middle finger is pinching the bottom string to do the melody, like that. It's just a simple pinch, 2 strings at the same time, thumb and middle. But I fill in between. I do what's known as an arpeggio, a broken chord, to fill it out, to make it sound more active and moving. And this is the same thing you would do on piano if you're doing a piano arrangement of this song. So you see that? I pinched. Then my index played the E. My thumb played the C. I tend to play those top 2 strings with my thumb when I do this sort of thing. So those 2 sections are very similar, just slightly different voicing of the chord and slightly different melody notes, but they have a whole lot in common. this is kind of the same as technique-wise. This part, the E7 part, Orientar, that part, we're doing a pinch of our E7 chord. Thumb on the G string, middle finger on the A string as before. Nothing's changed. That gets the melody note in there. I do my usual index thumb thing in between. I do a single melody note, which is the one I have to stick my pinky out for on the 3rd fret there. That melody note I'm playing with my middle, because I always play the A string with my middle in this arrangement. These are constants, by the way. You once you get a finger style pattern going, you usually keep those fingers on those particular strings for the whole time. So it's a lot less confusing that way. You keep this constant thing going, and you don't have to guess. You don't have to figure out, oh, this time you do your middle finger on the A string, and then you do your middle finger on the C string. And it's usually not like that. Usually once your fingers are committed to a string, they stay on that string for the whole song or that whole section of the song. So that makes fingerstyle ukulele a little bit easier, knowing that there's some consistency there. So again, the E7 chord, pinch. Pinching meaning play the G and the A together with your thumb in your middle. Fill it in with your index and your thumb, playing the E and C strings. Single melody note, which is on the A string, of course. We fill in with the index and middle, and finally what I do is I take my A minor chord and I play all 4 notes at the same time, but I do not necessarily strum. If it's the end of the song, I might strum, but in this case I pluck, and so I pluck them simultaneously. I have thumb, index, middle, ring on those respective strings in a row, G, C, E, A, and I just go. You might want to practice that if you haven't done a whole lot of that, plucking all 4 strings at the same time. That is a cool technique. It's used in a lot of classical ukulele, and it's kind of piano-like. It sounds like striking 4 keys of the piano at the same time. So I really like that sound. Classical guitar uses that a lot. So put all of that together. I'm going to go real slow, and it's kind of like this. On top we had the chords. And the net result is check out how on the A minor chord rather than do that, this time I went. That's the basic pattern. In a nutshell, it's this. Thumb in middle, picking the G and the A strings, pinching. Index playing the E, thumb playing the C. And then you repeat the top note, but don't pinch. You just play it with your middle. And then the E and the C. Just a little arpeggio. So you might want to practice that if some of this didn't make sense to you, if it went by too quickly, if this is a little above your pay grade. At the very least, here's what I would want you to walk away with, is taking a nice A minor chord and going like this. Different tones like I was just doing too, all the different bright tones and mellow tones that you can get out of fingerstyle ukulele. So hopefully at least that made sense to you, this little thing. If not, use that feature on YouTube, being able to slow down videos using the settings function, the gear down below there, that little gear icon. You click on it and you see playback speed. Then you have options. You can do half speed, 3/4 speed, 1/4 speed. You can slow this thing down, and you can watch my fingers go really slow. So if all else fails, slow it on down and you'll be able to keep up. Alright, fellow ukuleleans, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you need more of this arrangement. I will send you the whole thing scribbled out. And have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I will catch you next time. Take care.